Okay, so if you haven't already gathered it, my approach to changing the way we eat is very structural, and by that I mean structural in the nature of our thoughts and the nature of our feelings, and it's looking at the structures that we don't always see, right? So we consider how when we go into the grocery store, we're the subject of a vast system of marketing and schemes and money that's trying to get you to buy certain things. Very little of that is based on health. In fact, most of that is not. Most of the healthiest food doesn't have labels, right? There's no marketing for a banana. Anyway, so today's topic is building your pantry. And I think the pantry is very important because it is like your store at home, right? In the same way that when you walk into the grocery store, you are bombarded by messages about what is the right or the best thing to eat. And you have to figure out how to interpret that. And all that is going to affect what you buy. In the same way, the pantry you construct at home, the food you have ready on hand, either dried stuffs to cook or food you can just eat immediately and snack on, these foods are going to play a huge role in how well you eat. So just like my only exercise for snacking is to plan out your snacks, my only real exercise for a pantry is to plan out your pantry, right? So a lot of times people don't think about the pantry, I think. I think that oftentimes we go and we buy something and it ends up extra and then it goes into the pantry, right? I want you to think about it differently. I want you to go to the store, and for the pantry exercise, it really helps if you can find like more of a health food store, a co-op, a place with a good bulk aisle is really wonderful. A place that sells organic nuts and dried fruits and things like that, who's conscious about what's going into them, sulfur dioxide, those sorts of things. It's really good for the pantry exercise. I feel like I can do almost all my shopping at almost any store if I'm very careful and paying attention. But pantry shopping is different. I don't feel like I can pantry shop at every store. I have to go to the stores that are going to really stock the products that I really love and are really great. So I want you to make a grocery store run specifically for your pantry. And before you go, set a budget, whatever's in your budget. It's $20, it's $200, whatever it is, set the budget before you go and spend your whole budget specifically on foods to go into your pantry. Not foods you're going to cook tonight, right? These are foods that are going to sit and they're going to be there waiting for you. And they're going to support you in eating what you really want and what feels healthiest to you. So for me, I'll just share a little bit, but it's going to be different for everybody. But for me, I really have found that I love having a certain number of dried fruits, nuts, in all different types, raw, roasted, flavored or not. So dried fruit, nuts, chocolate, and I generally like to have some sort of cookie or glutinous cookie cake thing. Generally cookies because they last the longest, so you can just reach in and grab them. But consider, what do you want in your pantry? What's going to make you feel the best, the most healthy? And also consider, even when you're going and you might be spending more on these pantry items than you're normally used to spending on food. I mean, some items can be expensive. I love macadamia nuts. They're $20 a pound, right? So as you approach these foods that you may not normally buy and they might be a little costlier, just consider what you spend when you go out and buy something, right? When you go to the store or you're at your local Starbucks and you pick up a thing of yogurt or a can of nuts or a sandwich, right? Compare the prices because you'll quickly see that, wow, even if I buy the most premium things I can find in the stores, generally I'm going to be spending less or the same amount as I would by buying something completely inferior when I'm out in that context. So there you go. Buy a good pantry. Consider the ways that the food you have on hand will most beneficially support your health.